Welcome to the Genius Zone here on Edge Radio Australia. An absolute pleasure to have Terry Messenger beside me. She's got the headphones on, so you know she's serious. So I've just got the little plug. I'm not quite so serious. No. We are ready for a fantastic show because we have a bit of a special guest there online.
We actually do.
I'm not even going to do the intros because we all know it's not my forte, right? You've got
Are
it
you
written
sure?
down. Oh, no, look.
You always introduce me really good.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take the points. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah.
I will take any compliment. I'm that desperate. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I'm glad to hear it. You got your coffee. So
I have my coffee.
Yeah,
yes,
you got your coffee and I've got mine.
Terry has caffeinated me and we're ready for the show. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
If we're not doing the show at 5 and we're not having a little bit of a celebration, that's right. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's get into it. The introductions of our lovely guest.
Yes, okay. Aaron, I've known this lady for a number of years and she is a gorgeous woman. However, she had a very mysterious illness and it is CIDP. Now, that's an autoimmune disorder where the immune system attacks the myelin sheath, now go figure, of your nervous system.
This sounds full on.
I know. It almost sounds like CJD, except obviously this one's not quite as fatal. However, the symptoms are very much around the body becoming weak, numb, a person losing their ability to walk.
This is huge.
Yeah. This is all because of inflammation, by the way. Did I mention that?
No, you didn't mention that. But okay. Yeah.
So it is definitely, this is the thing in our society today. And this woman, she actually came to me to do NLP and she is going to be, because you know how the Genius Zone is all about, pain to power.
Thoroughly agree.
Yeah. So she is going to be helping other people in the future to gain pain to power when their health has gone down the gurgler.
Well, okay, clearly she's not down the gurgler now. Now she's lifted herself out of said gurgler. Shall I bring her to the screen?
Please
Welcome to, of course, Edge Radio Australia. Welcome to the Genius Zone. Lovely to see you, Michelle.
Yes.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Aaron.
I absolutely love to have you on board, actually. I've seen you pop up on the screen a few times with some fantastic comments. Really, it's wonderful to see the interaction and I don't know, just the mix of subjects you're interested in. So wonderful to have you as a guest now. And just hearing that backstory, damn, that's I was going to say the word impressive. Impressive from the point of view of to lift yourself out of that, man, that's a big call.
Yep.
Thank
scary.
Yeah. Very scary.
Yeah. And Michelle, you are epitomizing the Genius Zone because what you're doing now is you are ready to turn your pain to power and you're going to be doing this through the subconscious and a lot of the work that you've learned through our certification together, neuro-linguistic programming. And, firstly, let's go back to the backstory. So it may be hard for people to even fathom that you sitting there in all your glory, not so long ago, you couldn't even move. So, what happened? How did the symptoms start? Tell us about that. Walk us through your experience.
Okay. They started in 2022. There was a lot going on, the world had just basically shut down and we were just coming back, in 21, 22. And I just started falling for no reason. I'd just be walking around the house and I'd fall. And one night I fell so bad that if you're queasy, maybe not listen to this, but my shin bone started bleeding because I had tore off the skin so bad down to the bone and there was just a pile of blood. So my mom came and got me and took me to the hospital and it happened so fast. Like I was there a week and they had to send me to another facility because it's very new autoimmune disease. They're just now beginning to understand it. So I was in basically a nursing home, rehab facility. Like all of a sudden I could talk, but my memory was crap.
So what kind of time span are we talking about here, Michelle?
Like, it was like a week. And all of a sudden it was so weird. I don't know.
You went bang.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, we know somebody else who did that too.
We certainly
but
do.
That's why I said CDJ, because of course this is not fatal, because Michelle is
Right here in front of us,
obviously
yeah.
evidence of that. But, you know, for someone like me, I can't wait to get into the psychological part of the subconscious brain of how you went from a nursing facility, a nursing home, barely 50 years old, to, you know, here you are sitting on Edge Radio having this discussion. So, you know, did it happen slowly? Were you aware when suddenly you just lost your ability to walk, to move, to feed yourself?
No, I did have a little bit of tingling in my toes, but nothing else. And I've had other health problems before that. You know, I've had 18 other surgeries. That would take a couple shows to go through, but just saying.
I was going to say for a second. I remember those feelings. I like those.
But not quite the same thing.
A little bit different.
Yes.
No, yours had a bit of a different outcome.
Yeah. And all of a sudden my body, I couldn't move. I could barely roll myself over. I lost being able to go to the bathroom by myself. I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk. I was in all these Hoyer lifts. And I finally got to the point where I could be in a wheelchair. But it took a long time. It took months, years. I started getting a little better once, and then I plummeted back down. But it's kind of like as weird as I got sick so fast. Then there was 3-4 months ago that I just all of a sudden felt better. I went to the hospital. I was there for like 5 days. I guess I was on a vent at that time. And I woke up and I wasn't on the vent. So I just have to go with what people told me, because I really don't know. And ever since then, I was still in a wheelchair. And now within 4 months, I'm walking, talking, being able to dress myself. I can cook again. This is the first time I put even makeup on or my hair up in like 3 years, because I wasn't able to.
I haven't put my hair up for a while too.
I know. Darn it.
But that is phenomenal. And of course, you know about neuro-linguistic programming and how it all starts off in the brain. And for those people who don't understand perhaps the cellular aspect of it, it's where, you know, Deepak Chopra says it like this. Now, Deepak Chopra is a medical doctor, but he is also a person who does a lot of the quantum neurological science behind the cells of the body. And he says it like this: the cells of our body are eavesdropping on our thoughts. And with that, you know, I don't know how much you're prepared to share, but when you think about it, this is what I would be looking at. So your life before, so perhaps just prior to when you literally took a great big downward spiral turn, what was going on in your life? Now, do you want to know the metaconscious symbolical reason for CIDP?
I would love it.
Okay, all right. So firstly, we believe that everything comes from something that's happened in the brain. So it starts because the brain operates everything. So the nervous system is the essence of what's laid down at birth. Okay. It is our infinite intelligence. And if it can create life, and if it can create your heartbeat, if it can create your blood flow, then how much easier is it to heal itself? So you can heal yourself or you can make yourself sick. And what Deepak Chopra did was a study of people where under a microscope there were people that were terminally ill, and some of those people, they just died very quickly. Then there was the other group of people, and for some reason they lived well beyond the expectation and did so well. Now, what happened was it came down to their cells. So have you ever seen, Aaron, these kind of things where they do this little thing with water? So they get a group of people to put love into water.
No, I haven't seen something like that
And
at all.
then they put another group of people to put hate into the water.
Okay, now I'm going to have to interrupt for just a moment. Because
Speaking
guess
of
what?
which,
I have to sneak away for a little bit of medical attention.
he needs to, yes.
Yes, so thank you very much. I will be back, but I really do appreciate this, and I apologise for the inconvenience. But yeah, I'll be back in just a tick.
Looking forward to it. So, yes. So basically what happened is people that put love into the water under a microscope literally changed colour.
Wow.
So, yeah. So the people with a lot of hate. Now, if I can be so blunt,
Mhm.
the metaconscious purpose is that because there's a lot of numbness involved, right? Is that correct? Did you have a lot of numbness in your body?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's working, but I still feel the tingling, especially in my hands and my feet, really bad still, but I'll take it. I'm sure there's something else I need to work out here a little bit, but it's a process. And, you know, it's with the right coaching and everything, it seems to be working quite well.
So what we're going to do is we're going to turn Michelle's pain into her power, because that is what this show is all about, the Genius Zone. So obviously what you need to identify, and people can do this at home, is, you know, if you were a bird and you flew up above your timeline and you went back to before you went into that critical state. You know, this can even occur for people who have car accidents, things in life, to understand how it works. If you believe in this is what we believe, that everything is, you know, cause and effect that comes from our brain. But it's about identifying where someone or many people steamrolled your boundaries. So in the metaconscious symbol, the CIDP holds the theory that you have been steamrolled, your boundaries had been broken. Now, it could have happened when you were a child and you were shut down. So does that ring a bell for you? Is that familiar?
Absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you do, because we didn't talk about that before the show or anything. So you can resonate with that. So it's really important to then understand what is the higher purpose. So, you know, your subconscious mind almost put you into a position like that.
Yeah.
Like, you take my husband, for example, it doesn't get much worse than that, right? CDJ, that's a fatal disease. What could possibly be the higher purpose? Well, I could name quite a lot of things. Number one, that he is currently a medical phenomena. He has outlived the normal standard person. Number two, that he can also show that he can be a miracle every day and actually have the love and attention that he has. But number three, you know Ian, Michelle, you've met him, and the kind of person that he is, he always wanted to be that legacy. He always wanted to be a medical phenomena. So if nothing else, even with that fatal, you know, diagnosis, he will go down in medical history. So can you see that? I'm kind of telling you that story so you can understand. Yours is obviously not fatal. Yours, you have already overcome it. But if you look back to that point of your life, can you see how your subconscious was trying to protect you from something?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, then you've got the inflammation, because it all comes from inflammation. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I do not have the answers for this, but I certainly interviewed a scientist last night, strangely enough, and inflammation does have a critical impact on most diseases.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, in mine, I gained 90 pounds like that. It was crazy.
wow.
Yeah, it came on as fast as me not being able to walk. So, and it was because of losing my house at the time and having a really crappy divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And going back and forth, fix it, not fix it. After we stopped, I got better. And so, yeah,
Wow.
the inflammation and a lot of stuff going on upstairs with just being upset and stressed. And my kids were in high school, which is a hard time to parent. I mean, yeah, I can definitely know what has happened to create this crazy CIDP. So,
And so the important thing for a person who is ready to completely shed that and rise to the next level is to understand what that higher purpose is. So maybe it put out a lot of the fire that was going on in your life. It may have pulled you into a situation where you were protected from the situation you were in. But I guess I ought to ask you that question. Was that
yeah,
the case?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. So you can identify that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So if you could go back, because, what we need to do is we need to look at giving that younger version of yourself what you needed. So we're talking about rituals, we're talking about habits, and the rituals and the habits that we create in our life, really have a huge influence over ourselves as well. So, what sort of rituals could you be practicing that will, really help you? So, for example, do you love being out in nature?
Oh, yes. It's my favorite. Anything that has to do with trees and water. I love sitting by the water lake. Tonight it's, full moon, and I would love to be out there by some water, just being in bliss, I guess.
Bathing in nature, bathing
Yeah.
in bliss. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to ask ourselves the question, what is the one thing that we could do every single day that would really, enhance us? Now, nature is definitely the very much cream of the crop. So go hug a tree, go out, even if you walk out. They say that to turn on that part of your brain when you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
to go out and look at the sun before you do anything. So what do we usually do? We usually wake up and what do? Look at our phones.
Right.
How many of us are doing that? And, this is where we are becoming a very sick population. So if we can, if you get up and you go out and you look at the sun in the morning, you're kind of waking up that part of the brain, but also your breath. So breath is the life force, because do you notice that you breathe differently when you're stressed?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's the difference? So if I asked the audience this, like, how do you breathe when you are in bliss? Do you breathe deeply? Do you breathe from that, that inner place of your stomach? Do you breathe slower when you're peaceful? Perhaps you can describe that, because describing your breath is your life force.
Yes. I always through my nose, and I do a long count. Some people do 4, 6. I do 8, hold for 6 and 8 out, and just,
Right.
yeah, and breathe into that, clear my head. And a lot of times I add meditation for 20 minutes at least. I journal. Water is always, well, actually that's first. Um, and then movement, my body needing to move because I'm stiff and sore because I had previous surgeries and whatever. So but it doesn't keep me down anymore. It's just, it's age and past surgeries, which I might not have had to have. We won't ever know, but that's okay. I know how to deal with it now, and that's all that matters. So.
And I just want to correct you on your language there, because obviously as a NLP practitioner, very important. You just used age as an excuse.
I
now,
did. That's right.
If I did the same thing, Michelle, I'd have a walking stick.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's not make up any excuse for ourselves. In fact, if we ever do address some of these things with excuses, we can say, even though I'm older, even though I have felt exhausted, and even though, but those two words, and even though, well, that's three, but even though I may be feeling pain in my body, I truly love and value and respect myself. So if you can either come back and write that down. So it is now, if you do this and you tap through your body, and I can actually give you the tapping chart. I don't know whether, have you done the EFT part of it with me yet in the course? Yet. Okay. So the tapping is where we're tapping on the acupuncture points, okay? So it is really powerful. So we start off with a karate chop. So the karate chop is, almost intentional of, we're going to get rid of this. This is what I'm going to get rid of. Yeah. So even though I feel exhausted, even though I'm not feeling great, even though this is what's going on in my life, right? Then you begin to move through your body. So you tap on the top of the crown of your head and just tap. And it doesn't matter how you tap, just lightly. I truly love and value myself. And then you can say words such as, then move into the third eye. So the third eye is awakening that visualization. I deserve to be healthy. And then moving to the side of the eye, I am completely in my rights to feel great. Then under the eye, now you're just making up these words yourself. I deserve to feel great. And then under the nose, so I can list the points. So then it's under the nose, it's on the chin. Then you are going into your collarbone, just below the collarbone, and you're saying what you want. I have every right to feel great. And then you're going under your arm and you're saying, I feel much better now. So what we're doing is we're breaking free of that pattern. But these are day-to-day techniques, right? But this is something you can be introducing into your program, and it's definitely in the certification. The most important thing, what's the most powerful experience you've had in NLP? I did ask you this backstage before.
Timeline therapy.
Yeah.
I love that. I like putting the negative in my left hand. I don't know why. I mean, because I'm right-handed. I'm actually pretty ambidextrous, but I choose any negative feelings and thoughts here, positive here, and we work it out. We release, but we do have to rewire. Once you release something, you need to replace it with positive affirmations and
exactly
things.
And you know why that is so spot on? So when you are looking at past, well, your past is gone. So yesterday's gone, 5 minutes is gone. It is a new moment right here and now. So it is really healthy. And of course, you always want to get permission from your client when you're doing the timeline to help them to elicit their timeline. So sometimes you might ask them questions such as, where do you imagine yourself this morning? So is it out to your left, Is it behind you? I had some students in one of the workshops I did recently who had their past on their right, and somebody even had it in front of them. So if you're imagining, even in your imagination, that your past is in front of you or over here to your right, what you're doing is you're living out your past in your future. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So instead of because that's how our subconscious works. So the reason that you love timelining is because, number one, you can go back to before it all began, right? And go, okay, when was the last time in my life that I felt fabulous? I was free of that disease.
Yeah,
right?
I love that part.
You like that question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So if I did ask you that question, what would it be?
I was an athlete. I loved doing sports. I felt really confident. And I love that feeling is coming back. So it
That's
feels,
awesome.
yeah, it's so nice.
And the fact you've been there and you've experienced it means you can have it again.
Right.
And we call that anchoring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the athlete, how does the athlete feel? How does that feel in your body?
Great. Yeah.
Here he comes. Woohoo.
There he is.
Our radio star is back.
Oh dear.
Are you feeling better?
Oh, look, I've just been completely, whoops, days. Well, my microphone clearly doesn't, but there we go. I'm all sorted. A little bit of medical attention never hurt anyone. There we go.
A little bit of, speaking of which, the universe has got a sense of humor.
Please explain.
Well, I was just saying, we were talking about timelining.
Right.
And, how people put their, how they do time in their mind. And even though nobody thinks of it this way, it's surprising how many people are living in their past.
That I thoroughly agree with. And it's not something I actually used to think. But, sort of actually, NLP sort of taught me a lot about that. Looking at those time markers, I almost feel like sometimes I'm living my life like the Back to the Future trilogies, where the timeline, of the things that affected my life. Michelle, thank you so much. I do apologise for me having to sneak out there. Just bad timing, way things go. Nothing like live, right? So
That's
there
right.
we go. Live is all about living. Boom. That's what we're doing. So
that's what we do. And Aaron does that extremely well. So, I feel the biggest breakthrough when you're helping your clients, Michelle, is really getting them to ascertain where they imagine they're yesterday, where they imagine they're this morning. Because when you're asking those questions, all of a sudden the subconscious mind is going, oh, that's not happening anymore. That's in the past. You know how we nurse and rehearse things?
Hang on, nurse and rehearse. Yes,
we
I've seen
do,
that
right?
too. Yeah.
Like even that pain you've got in your body, you've just been nursing and rehearsing that.
Well, I've literally just seen the nurse, but
no pun intended.
It was a good pun.
But did you know that even pain is a pattern?
Of course it is. And there is so much mind over matter on it too. You can actually, you can't always do this, but most of the time, if you are in pain, whether it be, let's be frank, physical, emotional, sometimes intellectual as well. If you decide to make that call, go, you know what, I haven't got time for this, or this doesn't serve me at the moment. This doesn't serve me at the moment is probably the best path on that one. You can actually, move past that pain.
But your body is symbolizing something and it's really speaking to you.
Oh, mine talks a lot.
Yeah, it does. So, the body keeps the score.
Yeah.
So,
that's so interesting because I'm very, very competitive. Okay. I like to win. Never going to protect. There you go. And I, of course, yes, an athlete. History of sport, history of competing. It's part of your DNA, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I love that part. It's great.
So what happened to that part?
Yeah.
So what happened to that part? Quite often I'll refer, if I want to put Aaron in a good mood, he's usually in a good mood. He's usually having to put me in a good mood, but just joking. But, what do we talk about? What is the one thing that you love to really, really just flicks your switch? And I'm not going to give you any clues about,
you take me straight to motorsport.
Exactly.
Yep, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my history. That's my, my sport. dashboard of my life.
I've done that actually. I've actually helped with the cars and everything.
Oh, fantastic! In what discipline? What type of racing?
They were racing modifieds. And
fantastic.
Yeah.
Speedway, fantastic.
Oh, that's fun.
There you go.
That's fun because it gets the adrenaline. So, for the next person, it might not appeal. Actually appeals to me.
Right.
I would love to actually race one of those jet cars, with the big jet engines in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
That really
Strap yourself
does
to a
it for
rocket.
me.
Sounds like fun.
I would love that. That would just do
You
it
see,
for me.
don't get me wrong,
completely.
I get the adrenaline of that, but to me, very little appeal. Even though I love speed, I adore corners, right? Like mid-corner speed is what I'm all about. So like no offense to the drag races in the world here, but anybody to a degree, if you've got the big enough cojones, right, you can go very fast in a straight line. To me, the curves and the jumps and
that's the art.
That's the art in my eyes.
Yeah,
anyway.
it is.
But we're all different.
That's skill.
Yeah.
That is really skill. I think anybody can drive straight forward.
Yeah, well, if you can hold
and
on.
Slam your foot down on the accelerator. I just see what appeals to me. And this is relevant, guys, in case you're wondering, that when you are raising something in your brain that flicks your switch, what you're doing is you are creating a state in your body.
Right.
So especially with motorsports, you're getting you're hearing it. So you can hear the car, right? You can hear it.
Absolutely.
You can feel it, like you're sitting in the seat and the engine's going,
That's right.
Yeah. And you can see of course you have to see what you're seeing. So you're seeing what you're seeing, you're hearing what you're hearing, you're feeling what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And what your subconscious is doing is it's actually anchoring you into that because it doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. So that's why people can feel a certain way without it even happening.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, gee,
it's the 101 of NLP.
Well, if I could do that, see, if you'd told me that years ago, I could have saved a fortune.
You could have.
Absolutely.
In more ways than many.
Oh, yeah. Well, the old joke about motorsport is how do you make a small fortune out of motorsport? You start with a big fortune.
A big fortune. Okay, fair enough.
Absolutely.
No, all jokes aside, but in whatever happens to be, whatever your buzz is in life, right? I think it's so important to chase it.
Yeah.
I think so many people just live their lives and don't. They just don't explore. They don't explore the things that are going to light up their life. And a great thing with NLP is you can go, you might find it, you kind of fall across it, and you think to yourself, okay, I can take myself back to that place. Yeah. And with your
it's better than taking yourself back to a feeling of rubbish.
Spot on.
So obviously with Michelle, what's happening there is that something prior to her big, spiral was going on in her life.
Sure.
And actually her subconscious was actually screaming out for help. So, because you're actually don't realize this, but you're going around and around and around about your situation. And what it's doing is I'm not a medical practitioner here, but it's raising cortisol, adrenaline, and the feel bad stuff.
Right.
And what you want to do is do the opposite. You want to do the dopamine and the releasing of the right neurons and cells.
Can I ask both of your opinions on this? And I'll go to Michelle first, if I may.
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on cortisol?
Oh yeah, definitely big, huge cortisol. Yeah, inflammation and cortisol. I really think with all the stress, that's why I gained 90 pounds was for those two things right there. Inflammation.
There you go. Yeah. It keeps coming up for me because it seems like medical people are suggesting that maybe I might have a little bit of, just a little bit going on. Like,
do you think you might be addicted to it?
Could just be, right? There's, subconsciously at some sort of level.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe, because I never consider myself to be a person with an addictive personality. I've never been.
We all are, though.
Well, we all are. Exactly. You've got to find what you're addicted to. And I think in my case, certainly earlier in life, and I think still to this case, this stage of my life, rather, I'm probably still addicted to adrenaline, right?
I'm addicted to drama.
Yeah, you're not addicted to bass, no?
But you think I'm joking? No.
No, I'm teasing you. I know you.
Addicted to drama.
I agree. I totally agree.
No, you don't believe me.
Michelle, we're having an intervention now.
That's okay. I
That's it.
agree. I like drama too, I
So
guess.
what are you addicted to? So look, we're all addicted to base. No, we're all addicted to something because that's the way our subconscious brain ticks, because it doesn't it doesn't have to do anything because it's automated.
Okay.
So everything is like, imagine if you had to wake up every single morning, Aaron, and go, which side of the bed am I going to get out of? Is there going to be a floor anyway? If I put a foot down, is there going to be a floor? Are you going to ask those questions?
No.
Which foot am I going to start walking on first? Am I going to be able to walk? See, look, Michelle, you've been here, right? You went through not being able to walk.
Yeah.
Until you see someone in that position, you don't realize how technical it is.
That's a really good point. I mean, I just laughed about the fact you're saying, which foot am I going to use? Now, Michelle, and I don't mean to laugh in that respect. The mirror's up at myself, right? I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm never going to think that way. But you've been in that situation, right?
Yeah, I think so many things every morning now. I think that I got off the amusement ride, like you said, going around on the merry-go-round, and I love roller coasters, but that belongs in the amusement park, not in my life. So for sure.
I like that, because you've also kind of pinned yourself and recognized that even if what's happening in our life is a disaster, your subconscious mind just goes, oh, this is a roller coaster. That's exciting. Or drama. Oh, it's giving us something. Yep. It's actually feeding us something.
It really is.
There is and the more aware we can be to what is actually going on in our life. So let's go back to the athletic days. What did happen to the athlete then, Michelle? Where did she go?
Yeah, she, I guess, was taking a nap somewhere in there in one of the boxes that I have, so I had to bring her back out.
Ooh, that's good. Hypnosis. She just symbolically said she took a nap.
Yep.
And it was in a box. You see now. So with the subconscious, it does actually. The fact she said that means that, okay, what happened when you opened the box?
I started getting better and feeling more confident again, and grateful and thankful for everything. I even thank the laptop for being here. I'll thank that I have indoor plumbing and water, because you've got to find something when you're really low to, I had to be proud of myself because I showered for the day or got my hair washed, or just whatever you can find, and it's hard to do, but if you do it, you start getting better and better.
This is a great point. Like gratitude. Gratitude is somewhere in my life I've fallen over on, right? I haven't had enough gratitude for the things that, I've been, everybody's different, and maybe because I'm kind of looking for the next fix, I guess. You don't smell the roses, right? And you don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
What you just said there is such a brilliant example of gratitude. I mean, okay, you just said indoor plumbing, right? We all have a little people. There is so much of the world who hasn't got indoor plumbing.
Exactly. Yeah. And we get like, so we don't really appreciate it. So being grateful and appreciating what you do have is a big part of it.
Yeah. And it's a real eye opener and reality check when you lose something, like your ability to walk. And we take it for granted. Like, you don't get up and go, is there a flaw? Which leg am I going to start off on? Will I walk to the left or to the right? Will I walk this way or that way? We can walk this way.
You and I are spending too much time together. That's exactly where my brain just went.
That's right. So, we just do it. We just do it. But, Michelle, what you have just said absolutely is classic of why some of the greatest people in the world have had the biggest falls from grace and the biggest challenges. Because when you lose, especially if you've been a fairly lucky person all your life, and so you just expect things, and I think I've probably been in that category where I've just taken things for granted, and so gratitude hasn't really been a big thing for me either. But my goodness, Michelle, how grateful are you to be able to walk and for water and all those little things now.
Totally blessed.
When they're taken from you, that's when you see the value in them. Really is so true.
I know.
It
It
is
was
true.
crazy. Yeah, it was so crazy.
So in your, and I don't want to pry, but in your stage of recovery, I guess, that you're at, and before you said you got better for a while, like a remission sort of period, and there's a ebbs and flows to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So where you are in your recovery now, I mean, how are you feeling? Like from let's work on a physical point of view, but let's also talk about the emotional side.
And so I'm just elated and super happy. My relationships with some of my family members it struggled. When my 2 daughters had to grow up with my surgeries and this, they were 2 and 4 when all of it started happening, and they're 24 and 22 now. But and there was a time during these 3-4 years that I didn't have a relationship with them at all. I was completely alone, in and out of hospitals and everywhere. Of course, they tried to visit as much as they could, but you know how your life is when you're that young.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And so,
who wants to see mum when you're like, you're a teenager or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And so getting that relationship back with them is just, I'm the stress, the anxiety, like everything is so much better. I've had huge problems with anxiety. But I'm finally getting to the top of it where I can just take the time to do a few breaths. If that's not good enough, I will shift and do something else and come back to what I was doing, or meditate for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you can grab in that moment. And just, it helps so much.
So what Michelle's going to be doing is creating a program, and in the program, obviously her story is her glory. So this is her story, and it's about identifying the causes or the root problems of, what's happening, coming back into the remembrance of yourself. And also you mentioned about the anxiety and panic. And, I was talking to a scientist last night, and we were discussing how the gut brain, did you know the gut brain is possibly one of the most important parts of your brain? Did you even know it had a brain?
It seems a little oversized, I'm just going to tell you that. But,
you've got a big heart.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. So did you know that, Michelle?
I did.
Yeah. So you understand the gut brain, and it's almost like the umbilical cord between the vagus nerve, the brain here, and going through the heart, because the vagus nerve, which comes from the back of the neck and comes down through and into the stomach. So it's like an umbilical cord.
Okay.
So just actually stimulating and rubbing that, and having the right kind of stimulation on that vagus nerve.
Well, and your lymphatic, your lymph nodes. So, we were doing tapping, but doing the lymph nodes and stuff behind here, up in here, under your arm. It is.
Well, I wasn't here, but I've actually been involved with tapping on another podcast at some stage.
Nice.
And it looked a little loopy, not going to lie.
Don't do it in public.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Hello.
Apparently I've done it in front of the whole world now, so there you go. But it's so interesting as far as, we're talking about different nerves and that kind of thing, and there's obviously a physical aspect to it. And, yes, you see some funny things with the tapping, but you're ultimately touching a physical part of your body, and you're getting a neurological difference and a change, right?
Yes.
So there's a link there. It's not a case of the old Vegas nerve. It's not like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You've got to get it out. Right?
There you go.
Exactly. So for you, going back in time and remembering the athlete, floating down inside the athlete, floating down into the the motorsport, being in the car, feeling the engine, hearing the engine, you feeling the wind in your hair. Like, what did you do? Did you run? Did you hop? Did you do javelin?
Everything. I did everything. I did track. I did basketball. I did volleyball. Tennis, racquetball, you name skiing.
You do have to be specific. That's the catch. Okay. So when you are anchoring yourself, like if you're anchoring your clients, you're going to ask them for a moment of time where they can float down into it. And then, you know, to be honest with you, to pass NLP on the practitioner's level, you know, Cert 1, all as you need to be able to do, and I might be kind of making this sound easy, is to elicit that person into a more desirable state. So if you can change a person's state and simply know the questions like, what does that feel like? What does that look like? What does that sound like? And go back to that place and get them to experience it so that they're raising that same, you know, all that adrenaline that's in a good way, you know, the dopamine and all of the feel good enzymes in the body.
Right.
And, you know, our subconscious sees it as a, you know, a color. We quite often will code it in color and sound.
Sure.
And like what Michelle said about coming out of the box, we do make up metaphoric symbols for what we're doing.
Yes.
So once you can take them back to that, you anchor them in. So what you will develop is the learning of what you went through in that critical time of your life. And once you learn it, you can then release it like a weed. And that's when you can put in all the athletic energy and that beautiful feeling of what that feels like to replace it.
Oh, jot that down. That's good information.
I hope so. That'll be $500. Thank you, sir.
Between the couches, is there some change back here? Away we go. Unfortunately, we've run out of time.
I know, right?
Look at that. But if I could throw to Michelle just on our look, just if you could just give your last thoughts, that'd be absolutely wonderful.
I'm just thankful and so grateful that Terry found me.
I did.
Yeah.
There you go. She goes looking. Yeah.
I must have gone looking. I remember the first connection call that we had.
Yeah, the first couple was so the Wi-Fi, everything was crazy. But I am just totally ready to start helping people now that I have gotten through what I did and developing a coaching program with Terry and help others.
I'm very appreciative, and I also want to say this. I find a lot more credibility in people. I'd certainly speak to a coach. I'd speak to someone who's been through adversity, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what makes you. And the fact that you've gone through that, you fought through that, you've come out the other side, and you're winning. It's just wonderful credibility. So I thank you very, very much for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I love you guys.
Oh, and right back at you.
Yeah,
So every time I see you come up with a comment, I think this is going to be a beauty. Thanks, Michelle. All right, but there is no more time for beauties today. These two beauties have to leave the room, and you're going to be stuck with me for the rest of the day. I hope you have a wonderful day, though. Thank you for being part of the Genius Zone. Yeah, it's Edge Radio Australia.